Imagine buying a car with heated seats and then being told that you need to pay an extra $18 a month to actually use it. That sounds really stupid, right? Subscription services started out as a responsible pricing model for things that required constant maintenance and upkeep, like a 24-hour MMORPG. But now this model has infected every last corner of the world, expected to make revenues of $1.5 trillion in 2025 alone. And the worst part about it is, the subscription takeover isn't just changing how we pay, it's fundamentally altering our relationship with the products we think we own. And it's been doing it for over 250 years, when a guy named Singer realized that instead of letting people buy something, in his case, a sewing machine, he could let them rent it for a fraction of the price. But if you think about it, this wasn't all that bad. This made expensive products accessible and created predictable revenue. A win-win. Salesforce copied this model when they introduced a pay-per-month B2B SaaS for company cloud storage. The client paid the subscription, and Salesforce kept improving the product, instead of having the customer pay a giant $10,000 price tag up front, which turned away potential clients and cost Salesforce potential profit. But some companies looked at the model and ignored the improving the product portion of it. All they saw was money. Money, money, money. And they leapt on it. Suddenly, Microsoft Office became a subscription. Then Adobe forced creators to rent Photoshop instead of buying it. Then a bunch more followed, all ignoring the fact that subscriptions were meant to be a two-way street. These companies decided to close off the providing constant updates and improvements lane and put another get more money from the customer lane. And then they turn around and wonder why people are pissed. And oh, were people pissed. And they still are. But revenue isn't something you can just take away from a company, so instead of trying to repair this relationship, they turned to something more powerful than features or convenience. Speaking of, thanks so much for all the support on the channel lately. It really means a lot, and I want to give something back to you guys. So do you need a job? That sounded a bit weird. But whether you're a UX designer, app developer, freelancer, or just a curious viewer, I want to get to know you guys, share some UX and UI tips, and maybe even get a gig. So I made a Discord channel for us and want to make this the place to be for front-end professionals. And I'm having talks with people to get some employers in there so you can connect with them too and find some jobs in the future. I'm really excited to get this thing started, so I hope you'll join me. Free trials. Free trials, I hear you say. What's so powerful about a free trial? Well, free trials are just the innocent face of the psychological manipulation that companies have been using to keep the subscription models running. And it's working. 48% of consumers forget to cancel before the trial ends. And that's by design. Companies count on what psychologists call the set it and forget it mentality, hiding behind complex cancellation processes that can take up to 30 minutes to complete. Compare that to the 2-click sign-up process, and the trap is painfully clear. But it doesn't end there. Services like Netflix and Spotify use Roach Motel design. Easy to get in, nearly impossible to get out. Want to cancel Netflix? You'll face multiple pages of discounted offers, guilt-triggering reminders of shows you'll miss, and even warnings about losing your viewing history. It's no accident that 35% of consumers have lost track of their active subscriptions. And then there's subscription fatigue, a very real psychological burden that 69% of Americans now report experiencing. Each new subscription decision drains our mental energy. Should I keep Netflix and cancel Hulu? Do I need both Spotify and Apple Music? Studies show the average person spends 42 minutes monthly just managing their subscriptions, leading to what psychologists call decision paralysis. 73% of consumers say they would reconsider canceling if the process were simpler. But why would I let my customers cancel easier if it loses me money? In fact, instead of that, why don't I raise the price little by little while they're paying so my customers don't notice? It's free money! And Netflix agrees, since its prices went up steadily 6 times over the past 8 years. And the fact that subscriptions almost always auto-renew makes this even more insidious. One study found that 42% of consumers are actively paying for subscriptions they haven't used years and months. Credit card expired? Companies now use card updater services to automatically get your new card number, ensuring you never accidentally escape their billing cycle. But that taps into a whole other world of data mining and privacy, which we won't get into for this video. The result? The average household now spends more on subscriptions than on electricity or home insurance, and most don't even realize it. In fact, in research, people often underestimated their subscription costs by $133 a month. That's over $1,000 a year from subscriptions that people just forget about. So you might want to check your subscriptions and credit card charges sometime soon. But here's the thing. Subscriptions aren't inherently evil, and they weren't meant to become this giant demon terror. Some services genuinely deserve the model, like Salesforce's. The problem is knowing where to draw the line, and even when you do, it's really easy to blow straight past it. Take streaming. What started as Netflix replacing your $50 cable bill has exploded into a mess of must-have subscriptions. Wanna watch The Last of Us? That's HBO Max. The Bear? Hulu. The Boys? Prime Video. Ted Lasso? Apple TV+. Suddenly you're paying $70+ monthly to stay current with popular shows instead of one subscription to watch all of them at once because of this fragmentation of features that has happened. And this fragmentation extends beyond entertainment. Software that once lived happily in the Adobe Creative Suite now requires separate subscriptions for different features. Professional tools, once by once, are now split across competing platforms, each demanding its monthly fee. The subscription itself isn't the problem. It's the abuse and the endless multiplication of subscriptions that is breaking the model. Then there's the outright abuse of the model. Juicero tried selling a $400 juicer that only worked with proprietary subscription packets, until people realized they could squeeze the packets by hand. It's the difference between subscribing to a garden service that actively maintains your yard and paying monthly to use the lawnmower sitting in your garage. It's that ridiculous. And you know something's gotten out of hand when the government, the body that moves slow as balls, actually starts regulating the system. The FTC's click to cancel rule now mandates that ending a subscription must be as simple as starting one. Companies violating this face fines of up to $50,000 per incident. Major brands like Adobe and Microsoft have already overhauled their cancellation systems, cutting average cancellation time from 25 minutes to under 2 minutes. But it's not just the government, it's the consumers as well. 50% of consumers canceled at least one subscription service in early 2024 alone. But this time, it wasn't just quiet cancellations, but loud public pushback. When BMW tried introducing heated seat subscriptions, the internet erupted in mockery. The backlash was so severe that BMW had to completely abandon the program. HP faced similar outrage over their printer ink subscriptions, forcing them to rethink their business model. More important than that, though, is that consumers are revolutionizing the market itself. Apps like Truebill, which tracks and cancels unwanted subscriptions, saw downloads surge 312% in 2024. Companies offering one-time purchases have seen revenue jump 40%. Even streaming giants are feeling the pressure. Netflix lost 2.8 million subscribers when they tried raising prices, forcing them to introduce a cheaper ad-supported tier. Companies offering lifetime licenses instead of subscriptions are seeing a surge in interest. And a new generation of startups is emerging, explicitly promising no subscription required as a selling point. The subscription revolution is facing its own revolution, and this time consumers are finally winning. But the VCs aren't, especially when they pour billions of dollars into scams like Devon AI.